Welcome to Common Grounds, recorded inside the roasting room at the Coffee Roaster in Lincoln, Nebraska. In each episode, we sit down with people from Lincoln and beyond so you can get to know the fascinating individuals who help shape our community. Grab a cup and join us. We're glad you're here. You know, most people, when you think of downtown in a city, it's, kind of like a main street and two or three side streets as you go along. But Lincoln is really different. Our downtown is vibrant. I think our guest is going to like that word. And it is a melting pot of culture and history and entertainment, some sports, a little bit of everything in downtown Lincoln. As far as history goes, you can kind of start on the west end of what we call downtown, and that's the Haymarket, and that's an old part of Lincoln, kind of connected to the railroad passing through. You go out on the other end of downtown, used to be the telephone company area, and we now call that the Telegraph District, and that's a pretty good-sized downtown. And as our guest is going to tell you today, we have a large downtown for a city of our size. We have arts and entertainment there. The University of Nebraska is there, and the Leeds Center, and the Sheldon Museum, and a number of other things. We have family attractions and sports. The Haymarket is has the arena. We have the football stadium down there, isn't there? It's the last time I looked, we had a football stadium downtown, and a number of other things, and of course attractions like the Children's Museum. So downtown Lincoln is a phenomenal place. And we have a phenomenal guy that's going to talk with us about it today on the Coffee Roaster. Marilyn Moore and I are here. I'm Randy Bretz, and we're here to talk with Todd Ogden. And he's better known as Downtown Todd. And every time I think of you, I think of that song from, who sang that?
Petula Clark.
Petula Clark, yeah. Da-da-da-da. Anyway, I'm not going to try and sing it. That's not what I'm known for. But Todd, tell us a little bit about yourself and this coffee cup that you have.
Yeah. I'm Todd Ogden. I'm
going to turn this so people can see it.
You want me to over here?
Well, I don't know which camera we're on.
Yeah, one of these two. So this is my Downtown Lincoln mug. My favorite mug because it has the best brand in the world on there. We have our downtown icon on the other side, and
it says Downtown Lincoln.
Downtown Lincoln.
Don't you have anything that says Downtown Todd on it?
I should.
Yeah, you should.
We're all about Downtown Lincoln. We don't need to highlight me anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, as I was preparing for our conversation today, I did a little bit of checking, and I thought, there's just nothing happening downtown, Maryland.
Well, then,
you
didn't check very well, Randy.
It's going to be tough. Well, that's my attempt at humor. There is a lot going on downtown.
A lot going down.
And probably the first thing let's talk about is our main drag, O Street. What's happening there?
Yes. So we're getting an upgrade on the entryway of downtown Lincoln. So
I like the way you put that.
Yes.
Instead of the orange cone zone.
We're gonna be
upgrade on the entrance.
We're gonna be open the whole time. So our entryway, we're gonna have an O Street that the businesses and the community deserves. It's been a long time since a lot of major infrastructure upgrades or topical upgrades to make it more walkable and things like that have been done on O Street. So the city is undergoing one of its largest rehabs of its main drag ever. And construction's going to be starting here this week. So
we're in early April of 2026. So it depends on when you watch this. It could be done by the time you see it.
Let's hope so.
But they're about to shut down portions of O Street, but they're going to keep all of the shops open.
Always.
And the sidewalks and everything as well.
Yep. So it's actually a combination of a infrastructure and water main upgrade. So the water mains have to be replaced. We've had a couple businesses and a couple water mains that have burst in the past, and we don't want that to happen on O Street. So this did have to happen. And we also have this streetscape project that we've been working on for a long time. Our downtown master plan called for an enhancement of our entryways, which is O Street and 9th and 10th, and that also includes work on 11th and 14th as well. And It's going to make it much more pedestrian friendly. It's going to help replace and add a lot more trees to the area. There's a lot of ash trees on O Street, so we have to figure out how to get those replaced. This will increase the amount of trees on O Street when it's all said and done. Better seating, better shade, a road diet, as you will. So
A road diet.
A road diet. So a little more focus on walkability than getting cars flying through there. We're not going to jam up traffic too much, but it's all about making it a place where people know what Lincoln's about. And when you go through O Street, we want you to know that this is a great place, and it's the thorough way through our city and through downtown as well. So it should look really, really nice.
And at the same time, it's a U.S. highway.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
I have a feeling there are like layers of approvals that were necessary as this project was born.
That's why it's taken so long to get O Street done. So we're doing it. The city's ripping it off like a Band-Aid instead of going in and out, in and out. Construction's going to start now. And yeah, so they'll keep things open as much as they can as far as the streets and lanes and the sidewalks. There will always be an opening to the sidewalks through all the businesses. And that's going to be my life for the next 2 years, is making sure to educate the community that, hey, downtown's still open, and working with our businesses so we can minimize the impact as much as possible.
My wife and I have talked about we're going to go and frequent restaurants and businesses that we haven't been in for a while. We're kind of East Lincoln people, and we just don't get downtown that much, but we're going to do that. There's one part of this project that has fascinated me. Some of the people behind it, they call it the Wizard of O.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yes. So
that's Cinnamon Doken.
That's Cinnamon Doken, owner of a Novel Idea. And she's also part owner of that parish project building. Okay. And helps manage the parish studios, which is the second floor. I mean, that whole building is just a microcosm of my favorite thing about downtown, like how it's come together, and it's built kind of a community block within itself. And Cinnamon's really been the leader of that block. And has understood that this street is going to get a lot of upgrades. They want these, but also we got to get the community on board to say, hey, we wanted these, but also let's work together as this goes through, because it's not going to be easy. No matter what you do, it's not going to be easy, but we have to have a positive attitude and try to keep reminding people why to come here. And everybody has the same opportunity to, work with us to do that. And that building is taking that opportunity and taking the advertising and the promotions of what DLA and the city's trying to do to a whole new level, and doing their own campaign and doing the Wizard of O Street. So they're going to turn Parish Project into a Wizard of Oz theme with a yellow brick road, and you can go upstairs. It's going to be great.
Help me understand where that building is.
14th and O. So it's the northeast corner of 14th and O. Gourmet Grill is right on that corner.
Yeah.
And then you've got Alibaba's, you've got a Novel Idea bookstore, Gomez Art Supply, Suru, and then go down the street a little bit further. That's not part of this building, but just north of the alley then would be Honest Abe's. So that's kind of that east block right there, and which is on what's now known as Boehmer Street. Our new music district is called Boehmer Street.
What a transition you made there. Just sail right around the corner. So
talk about the music district, because there's also the music box. Is that the the studio? Mm-hmm. How did all that come to be, and what all is there? What will people find?
Yeah, so I mentioned this a little bit before, but Project O Street was part of our 2018 Downtown Master Plan, and we had a lot of key initiatives, and we'll probably cover all of these today because I really want to on the major catalyst projects. And it talked a lot of catalysts in there, whether it be convention center, a new downtown library, the entryway corridors, and then the South Haymarket Park. All that stuff's getting done, and then also had this thing called this music district concept. And after we launched that, a lot of people said, I love this music district concept. And we're like, what do you like about it? I was like, I don't know, I just like it. So we had to figure out, how do we cultivate what's already established as a really, really cool area that helps out local musicians and promotes live music. And it all started with Larry Boehmer bringing blues and jazz in the Zoo Bar. And him and Jim Ludwig was the owner, and brought in Larry Boehmer and started music. So since then, now we have a really cool local music scene with Duffy's, we have Bodegas, 1867, Bourbon Theater, Zoo Bar, of course, and Rococo. And so a really central mass of people that have been supporting the live music scene, and also a couple festivals like Lincoln Exposed and Lincoln Calling. And it said, how do we cultivate that so this can truly be the destination that it deserves? So what Boehmer Street is what we now call the music district. You can have the music district anywhere. That was a planning concept. Yeah. The mayor made this the first honorary street in the city of Lincoln last year, or about 6 months ago, as Boehmer Street, because this is the only place in the world that Boehmer Street can be. This exists because of Larry Boehmer. And Boehmer Street is kind of, it's not just that street too, it's just this whole area around where we want this to be a destination focused on arts and music and culture, that when we're all done with this, it's going to be a place where you can park or ride your bike or walk. And it doesn't matter where you're going, there's going to be something going on. Like the Haymarket certainly is a destination where people park and then you find your adventure. The central part of downtown has a lot of great amenities. It has a lot of great businesses, but you don't really go right now as a district destination. I'm going to a Novel Idea, or I'm going to the Zoo Bar, or I'm going to go to Walgreens, or I'm going to go to work in this area. We want it to be we want you to park here and take part in this Boehmer Street experience. And so part of that is when we launched that plan, COVID happened. And during that, I applied for every single ARPA grant you could. And one of them that was awarded to us was this music district grant. So it gave me funds to enhance the music district on the public side. It wouldn't let me put money into the private side, which I really wanted to do to help enhance and keep those up. And so that was unfortunate. But what it did do is allow us to use these dollars for public infrastructure and amenity enhancements. And at the same time, the mayor was really supportive of this music district. And since then, at the State of her city last year, you could tell that this was one of her key projects as well, and has been super supportive. And we had this space on now Boehmer Street, just west of the library. So Bennett Martin Library, across the street, the American Job Center is there. And then there was this like 2,500 square foot, just blank space. And mayor said, use this for the music district. So he said, great. We have a space, and then we just started talking to a bunch of musicians, promoters, producers, audience members. Leadership Lincoln. Leadership Lincoln hosted a focus group where we talked to people and said, hey, what is the music industry, the local music infrastructure need to help enhance the area? And largely they said, we need band practice space. We need education and training, and we need a kind of an all ages venue. So that really today formed what the Music Box is, and it's a local music incubator.
That's in that garage, isn't it?
Yes, that's in the garage. So
I used to do video production there, and you always prayed nobody's going to be driving out the ramp because you could hear it.
Yeah,
when you're recording something. But I don't suppose if you got a live live band going on in there, they're not worried about a car going down the ramp.
Yeah, and it's just on the north side of the ramp too, on that little space. It's actually previously, before the city bought that garage, it was Four Seasons Travel Agency. Before then, Eagle Printing had where American Job Center is, and that's definitely more of where the cars go through. But it also works.
Bates Video used to be in there.
Okay, that's what it was.
I'm talking about.
It works for us because our bands can be as loud as they want to be. Parked cars don't care in the middle of the night. It's not like we have residents up there. So this is a 24/7 venue. Last Sunday, we launched the Music Box here around fully 6 months ago. And we have about an average of 10 hours of use a day of musicians using the space.
I didn't realize
So
that.
are they creating? Are they composing? Are they recording? Are they broadcasting? Are they doing performing? Are they doing all those things?
That's a great question. All of the above, but primarily, so right now we have about 71 members, and members basically for $240 a year, you get 16 hours of use of that space. So it's kind of your own library. You get a code, you can enter and exit during your time when you want, and you can use those 16 hours however you want to create, to play. We also allow a limited amount of performances. We don't want to have too many performances there because we want people to perform at our private venues. So certainly making sure and you can tell when you go to the Music Box, it is designed for the band. Most of the space is the actual stage. Very smaller audience space, but the stage and the sound and the lights and the LED screen, which we're working with the university, Johnny Carson for Emerging Arts, we're going to have students that have been members there as well. The Bay is using it, Bay High. We have,
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so it's been going really well. Last Sunday, it was booked for 22 of the 24 hours in that day.
Wow.
So it was needed. So I'm really happy that it has started filling out, and hopefully we can continue to find out ways to help support the community in it. And yeah, most of them are using it for actually recording their music. So bands are playing, they have it set up so they can record and figure out how to hone in their sound to be hopefully produced.
So Marilyn and I play accordion.
Yes.
And not accordion, and harp.
Oh, harp.
And so we could go in there and do a little concert and record it, right?
Absolutely.
Because you play the accordion, I play the harp. And
I thought I played the harp.
oh, that's okay. I'm trying to be funny, and it just kind of went over like.
Well, you're not far off. One of the members has had his drum set kicked out of the house because he was too loud. And there's been a lot of kind of later in life musicians too that want to come back and hone their craft because they haven't had the opportunity because they just don't have the infrastructure in their house, or and again, this is a really cheap way to do it. So he just got a membership, and on like Wednesdays at noon, he just comes to just jam out and play on the drums. So the music box
I should get a membership because my wife gets upset that I tap all the time.
Yeah,
I was a drummer in high school. I want to switch gears because you and I really got to know each other when we had a huge initiative to get a convention center downtown. Talk with us about that.
Yeah, convention center is so important. When the entertainment district was built, from the 2010 vote on, we had the arena district, and a lot of great things have come from that. But what wasn't part of that was a convention center. And even before then and since then, one of our major needs we've had downtown is we need a convention center. And we sort of knew that. But then when we teamed up with Rotary and Visit Lincoln and DLA, we said, okay, we kind of know it, but let's do a study and let's figure it out. So we teamed up, and that's where I got to know Randy really well. We said, let's do a study. And I loved that study because it came out and said, yes, you need it, and you have way too good of a downtown not to have one. So it was really positive on how our downtown was and how much we needed a convention center. So again, COVID happened again, so we had to kind of wait through that to get through. Then we did a phase 2 study, which said, okay, we know we need one. How big should it be?
And who's going to use it?
it? What should it look like roughly? Where could it go? It wasn't a location study. And that came out. And then at that point, we started being evangelists for the convention center all around the community. So we had our road show with primarily Randy leading the way, saying, hey, let's go talk to everybody. And actually, I think it was at one of the LIBA events where a couple state senators heard about it. They said, hey, let's put in some legislation here to help support this. And there was a lot of different areas. And the one that stuck was this turnback tax legislation. So because of that, kind of the mechanism to work through that was create this group primarily for the senators to show the state that say, hey, this is a group that's not one official governing body, but it's a group of primarily where senators can say, hey, we've passed this, we'll be the keepers of the turnback. Let's create this program and hire a consultant to say, let's figure out how to get this done. So a consultant was brought in and did a really deep dive on where the location should be. It took about a year, and it was no stone was unturned there. And the site was selected as the primary location to be next to the Cornhusker Hotel. So just east of the Cornhusker Hotel in that full block. So that's there. Now we just got to wait for the funding. So the turnback tax has been the last we were dealing with that is we went to the application process, and the turnback board at the state met and heard our turnback application. The application's been turned in. Now we're just awaiting a vote and a signature. And from there, then we can start designing and building the thing.
I bet a lot of people don't realize that the arena was built with turnback tax. And that's been very successful. The arena has completely changed Haymarket. It's brought thousands and thousands of people in for projects. And they're actually ahead on paying back what I'd call the turnback tax.
Oh, absolutely. There was a turnback tax mechanism, and there was also, again, the bond issued. So there was a really good capital stack and a really smart, and they were really conservative about it, where, they're financially very, very stable with that JPA area. So much so that some of the funding has been able to support other things in that area, like the Sandhills Global Youth Complex, which has been amazing. It's just outside of downtown, but it has tremendous impact on our whole community.
You can claim it. It's close enough.
Yes, exactly. I tell that to Jeff Mall every day.
Go ahead and claim it. Go ahead and claim it.
So, because everybody that comes there, you got a great downtown to go celebrate after your games. And then recently, it also earmarked to some funds to help basically complete the fundraising for South Haymarket Park, which was also on our master plan, known as West Park in the master plan. But South Haymarket Park is going to be the urban park that our downtown Lincoln and our entire community deserves.
Right now, it's mostly dirt. I've been through there, and they're getting things going. I know Maggie Stuckey-Ross is really excited about that.
She's been a tremendous leader, and the skate park element is pretty much done. So they're going to wrap that up and hopefully launch the skate park element around May. And so the skate park will kind of be open. I think the skaters kind of think it's open right now. So we got to get going so we can kind of fence off the rest of the construction, because now that critical fundraising has been met, they can start building the rest of it. So right now, it's tentatively supposed to be done around November of this year. I don't think we're going to launch a park in November, though. So, so we'll see. So definitely by the latest.
Let it kind of get through the winter and then launch it a
So
year
my
from
guess
now.
is about next spring is when it really, really will be ready to be launched and open and just,
It's a sizable park, too.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a large
huge.
park. I wish I had the exact acre measurements, but I don't have that memorized. That's for
for
Maggie.
people that have kind of stopped paying attention to the convention center because it hasn't been on the front page of the paper for a while, just remind us the basics. You've said it must be across 13th Street from the Cornhusker, and how big and when is it likely to be started and when is it likely to be completed? Do we know that? Do you know that?
Not yet. So last we knew, we had to wait for this current legislative session to end, because it was clear when that committee met, they said, we're going to make decisions with this after session's over. So we've got another, as we talked today, about three weeks left.
No,
then
3 days.
3 days.
3 or 4 days.
Yes. So then from there, say it gets signed and passed, that's $170 million. That is enough to get going. So we'd bring back a consultant to then really start the process. So what the community may not know is they think, it's been selected, it's designed. No, it's not even designed. The site is selected. Now the community gets to work with these consultants to say, hey, this is what we want. This is how we know it's a full block. So how big should how tall should it be? What should be included in it? Where's the rotary place going to be? Like all that fun stuff. What's going to be on the rooftop? Where should it face?
What room could be named after Randy?
Yeah,
right?
the Randy Brett's room. That's going to be the whole major ballroom there. So what I love about it is, a lot of people talked about location was really widely vetted, and there were a lot of people thought, okay, the post office, and that should be one area because there's been a lot of success on Canopy Street with the West Haymarket area being established, and for a number of reasons. I mean, the main one is we'll see when the post office moves. That we have a lot of delegates still trying to do that, but at the same time, there were a lot of blackout dates that would happen there. So it's really hard to have them next to each other. Other arenas and convention centers are figuring that out. And what I love is a lot of people said, well, the core of downtown doesn't have as much as that area. By the time this thing's going to be built, Boehmer Street's going to be one of the coolest streets in the country. And that's what I'm excited.
Bring that core downtown back alive.
Absolutely. There's so much development that's already planned and businesses that could really align with it when you walk out on that Boehmer Street area, which could extend all the way there. So right now it's kind of 14th between N and P. This would take it further south, so 14th from like L Street. And then you can be looking out on the Capitol to the south and looking at the university on the north. So it's really well situated. And again, I'm getting antsy because I'm ready to get going and get the community involved. And that's the biggest thing to remind people is, no, it's not cooked at all. If and when the funding mechanism or primary funding mechanism comes through, that's when we go back to the community and say, hey, we're going to have a bunch of open houses. We're going to have a bunch of focus groups. The community will get to have a voice in this. And that's also what I love about Lincoln is the community can have a voice.
That is very cool to know that you can give some input into what this new convention center is going to look like. Yeah.
Todd, when I'm downtown, I see men and women driving little machines, sweeping and watering plants and so on. And I don't think, most people don't think about that stuff. But how important is that in the downtown association management?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, most of what our organization exists for is because of kind of this maintenance district. So our organization is actually funded by what's called a business improvement district. So people that aren't familiar with that, it's basically an area of property owners that decide to specially assess themselves to enhance the area. And that's kind of how our organization was founded. It was founded in 1967. The O Street Gang at the time was the group of those large. It
really was the O Street
Gang.
The
O Street Gang.
That's the genesis of Downtown Lincoln Association. Yep. What a cool story.
Yes. So the O Street Gang, they had a friendly rivalry and competed against each other. And you had these, awesome buildings like Miller and Payne, like we talked about. And around the late 60s is when our organization was formed. At the time, it's called the Lincoln Foundation, and they basically said, "Hey, the suburbs are growing. We need to become and provide a common voice for downtown, so we can advocate for each other. Because if we're not on the same page, it's harder to grow as a downtown.
And we need to create an organization that can hire an exciting guy like Todd Ogden.
Yeah, about 40 years after that. So yeah, so they created, then eventually this business improvement model became very popular in North America. They're called BIAs in Canada, and BIDs here, business improvement districts. And our first bid was in the 1987, and that was a maintenance bid, which means the front footage is the calculation. And then we had our first management bid in the 90s, and now we just have our business improvement district. So all of the property owners on Arena Drive to the west, all the way now to Telegraph District and the Creek, Antelope Valley on the east, and then the Capitol to the south and the University of the north. So that's what we consider our downtown area, and that's our business improvement district. And yeah, we're funded through that.
So
and we
instead of
advocate for
individual store and business owners having somebody out sweeping the sidewalk and picking up trash,
planting pansies
and watering the plant. Gosh, those planters are huge.
They're huge. It's enhanced maintenance. Our maintenance crew is, I think, the best in the world. We have a very clean downtown. We have a very beautiful downtown. I'm involved with the International Downtown Association, which is a group of our organizations from all around the world. And when I come back from those conferences, everybody's really, really jealous of Lincoln, because people that have visited a lot of downtowns really can understand how clean and safe our downtown is, especially in comparisons with a lot of downtowns our size. And we definitely punch above our weight when it comes to downtowns in our city, and our city in general. But our downtown really punches above its weight and feels more like a downtown that would be in a city much larger our size.
So if you're a property owner in that district, you are automatically a member of the district, and you're automatically assessed whatever that fee is. So you have a reliable, consistent, steady source of revenue to do all the things that you do. How is it governed? Is there like a board of directors that decides this is how we're going to do this?
Yeah, so our board of directors is an 18-member voting board with a lot of liaisons, but that is a conglomerate of truly how we feel downtown is represented. So it's a snapshot of downtown, and they help provide that common voice. So we have a lot of rules in our bylaws on it. Has to have large property owners, small property owners, big business, hotels, small business, to truly get that common voice. So when we make decisions on what's best for downtown, it takes everybody's voice into account and find that common voice to do what's best for everybody. And that board of directors governs that. And then technically we're contracted by the city to operate the bid. So we're a nonprofit, but the city collects our funds for us, which I'm very glad. I don't want to do that. They're used to that with their own tax mechanism. This isn't a tax, but it is a special assessment. And so we don't really have members. And we consider every business a member. So we have 960 businesses in our district. So that's a lot of constituents that we have.
Do you have an annual meeting?
We have an annual meeting. We have our annual report. Our annual meetings kind of turn more into parties, though. So, we just want to celebrate every year.
That's a good sign.
So we like that. And we don't have members. So again, at some point I wanted to talk about, we used to have up downtowners in kind of the downtown Lincoln family, and they kind of became this citywide events organization. They put on the parade and celebrate Lincoln and July jams and things like that. And since they kind of went away, we've lost kind of that element of community involvement. So I've really been wanting to bring back kind of an ode to that energy from up downtowners. And we recently just launched our Downtown Lincoln Coalition and are recruiting downtown champions. So
I just heard from Randy Hawthorne's doing that, how fast it's taken off. He was thrilled.
Yes. So if you don't know Randy Hawthorne, you're not involved in much because Randy, between Randy and I, we're both on like 40 different boards and committees. So it's like, why not hire the guy that's already doing a lot of this stuff?
Yeah.
And he's the current chair of Rotary 21 right now. And he has just been a mainstay of downtown. He was the head of our residence council. He lives downtown, has lived downtown forever. He was involved in Up Downtowners at the time. And I wanted to hire him to run this program. So he is our vice president of community engagement, and he also runs the Downtown Lincoln Coalition. And he's been wanting to do this too. So he just launched our first kind of communication that said, hey, do you want to be a downtown champion? Which means I'm either a resident, an employee, or just a downtown enthusiast or a community enthusiast. You don't have to live or work downtown to be a part of this. And I want to be involved with helping promote downtown, with help doing events downtown, help our ambassador program, which we want to launch. And he launched it a couple of weeks ago. And after the first week or so, we're at around 250 members.
That's what I heard. That's what I
So
heard. Yeah.
we knew there was energy out there, especially post-COVID. People want to be a part of a community. And there's so many great community organizations, of course. But for us, focusing on downtown and focusing on the center of the community, we knew there were a lot of new employees that are from kind of new startup type businesses. There's a lot of new residents. We had 3,000 residents in 2010.
I was just going to ask about that.
Yes.
and that's
We have a lot of people live downtown.
We have a lot more now.
explosion
So we're
of
about
downtown
15,000 now. So we went from an 8 to 5 kind of mixed use business center to now we're a 24/7 urban neighborhood. So certainly it is that city center, but also, which is great because the more residents you have, the more 24/7 feel you have, and the more people that are around for more hours in the day, the more vibrant and safe an area can feel. So we want to continue to find amenities for those residents and community for those residents.
Well, there's also the demand just that every neighborhood has is you need a pharmacy, you need a dry cleaners, you need you need a little market, you need all those things, and the more people that live there, the more those amenities come, which then just attracts more people.
Yeah,
I think it's very cool.
That's why we have 2 grocery stores. So
Exactly.
I've been downtown Lincoln for 20 years now. I've been working at DLA, and for the first 10
He
years.
was 5 when he started.
Yes, I was 5.
It doesn't look
Just
like
a
he's
child.
I was incubated through here. I was a test tube downtown person when Paulie hired me. But every day we heard, we need a grocery store downtown. We need a grocery store downtown. And you always said, once you get kind of enough of a critical mass of residents, and thank goodness the Molines came in and brought in Canopy Street Market. It's such an amazing grocery store. If you haven't checked it out,
it's a
lot
great
of people,
grocery store
especially for an urban grocery store, it's more of like they treat downtown Lincoln like a small town instead of an urban grocery store.
They have stores out in western Nebraska.
Absolutely.
So.
And the prices are, again, in other downtowns that you go to, that grocery store, you're paying double for what you're doing. No, these prices are very competitive with all around the city. And now on the east side, we have Open Harvest. We have the co-op. So we are not a food desert anymore. If you live downtown, you have a grocery store at both bookends of our downtown.
So we've talked about the music district. We've talked about the O Street project, or Project O Street, and we've talked about the convention center and several other things. Is there anything in the 2018 plan that we haven't touched on that you can think of?
There is, we talked convention center, South Haymarket Park, of course, we've talked about that. We've talked about Project O, the library, of course.
Oh,
yes, the library.
I'm sorry, Ryan. I completely forgot about the library, but yeah.
It's because it happened so fast. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the library for a long, long time. Bennett Martin's amazing, but it has needed upgrades. And our previous library director, Pat, and now Ryan understand kind of the needs of a 21st century library. And we're a 21st century city, and we deserve a library that fits that. And there's finally a solution, thanks in large part to our city and Ryan's leadership. And people have come around and said, hey, they had the courage to say, we've been talking about this Persian area for a long time. That was in our master plan. And it was kind of hard to scope how large it should be or how much money it should be. And
build a whole new building.
Yeah, a whole new building. And then kind of out of nowhere, it became clear that the Centrum was going to be available. And some of our private community leaders talked to the city, said, hey, we're giving you a heads up, this is available. And they had the wherewithal to say, hey, wait a minute, this actually makes a ton of sense to look at our library. And the library board and Ryan and his staff, it's easy to get stuck on an idea. And they had the courage to say, no, this actually makes a lot of sense. It can be a lot more economical, and this building's kind of made for it. And then you could have
it's got affiliated parking and
you have parking connected to it, and it's two birds with one stone, because now we're going to enhance a very, very important block in our downtown that needs enhancement. And we're going to get a new library, and now Bennett Martin could be available for another enhancement on Beehmer Street. And I can't wait to see what happens there.
The new library
full disclosure here, I'm a new member of the library board.
Oh, yes.
And we've, at every meeting, we see the updated plans, and it will be a stunning addition to downtown Lincoln. And it is truly a 21st century library. I'm so excited about it. And it's going to make that block of O Street will sparkle in a way that it hasn't for a long, long time.
Well, I'm forever thankful for you and your colleagues there, because, just that leadership's been really important.
Well, it's, that's good city leadership, good private leadership. Yeah. One of those things that, you talk a lot about the secret sauce or the magic sauce in Lincoln. Yeah. This is another outcome of that.
The connection of
people's willingness to say, is there a way that we could make this work, instead of thinking of all the 100 reasons why it can't work? Mm-hmm. It does work. It'll just be fabulous.
And it's happening.
I'm excited about the auditorium. It's going to be on the roof.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
On the top floor.
The rooftop auditorium. It'll be very
I'm
cool.
anxious to come up with some things to do in that auditorium.
It's
like a storytelling festival and a few others. All right, I'm going to take a real hard turn here into something else.
Go for it.
Ring doorbells.
What?
I saw on your Facebook.
Okay, I know where this is going now. Oh, gosh. My marketing team doesn't like me very well, but yeah.
I want to talk about your family, and this is outside your front door, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So tell people about the Ring doorbell, and we'll post a link to it on the video. But
so I was at home, and there was a little bit of an ice storm, and I was taking out the trash, and I slipped and fell, and it was hilarious. And
it went down the steps.
Most people thought it was funny because I didn't curse. You could see it was falling. Like, it definitely could be on America's Funniest Videos. And then my wife was dying when she looked at the Ring video, because it was new at the time for us. Ring, we just got a Ring, and we looked at it, and she posted it, and it kind of went viral because everybody thought it was hilarious at my expense. And I thought that was good and done, but then my marketing staff just made a post about it for, I forget if it was April Fool's or something.
He's got a garbage bag in one hand, and he goes out and goes, whoop.
My sandal went flying 20 feet in the air.
4 or 5 steps down on the side. But you got right up and walked right back in.
Yes.
So you didn't damage yourself?
No, I was fine. They called me Gumby in high school. I fall all the time. So, it's good. People really take delight in my own pain. So but I don't take myself very seriously. So
that's on your front door, and you just mentioned wife. I want to know about your family.
Yeah. So
you got a cool family.
Yeah, very cool family. Just like everybody, I married my football coach's daughter.
Like everybody.
Yeah, that was dangerous. So my mom had been a teacher at Lincoln East forever. She is now since retired. John Gingery was the football coach and still the football coach at East, and he was my coach. And I was friends with her brother. I didn't know Sean at the time. She's 2 years younger than me. So, you got to be really careful with that in high school. So didn't know her too well, but then in college we kind of connected, and now have been married for 15 years and have spent every day together. And I'm ingrained in like that Gingery Ogden family. And so we have 2 kids.
Two little boys. Did you buy them somewhere, or are they your
No,
kids?
they're our kids, unfortunately. One's like full Gingery, one's full Ogden. So my 13-year-old is like me. He's just kind of a dope, like goofy, weirdo dope, but well-intentioned and great guy. And then he goes to Lux Middle School. And then our younger one is full Gingery, energy for days. He's a wrestler. He's a football player. And they both play football now, too. So with Coach Gingery, it's like, okay, I think...
It was their choice.
Yeah, we're hoping it was their choice. We're hoping he sticks around long enough. He might be able to coach his grandkids. So that's really fun to see.
That would be cool.
So we have a lot of history at the East. So, Sean and I have, like I said, been married for 15 years. I got a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old boy and 2 pigs or French bulldogs. And that's our family.
So, Todd, I like to ask this question right at the end or toward the end. When you describe Lincoln to people, what do you tell them? And why do you like it? You grew up here.
Yeah.
And you're still here.
I'm still here.
And why do you like it? Why are you still here?
Yeah, I'm the same way. And Shauna would absolutely never leave Lincoln. So our whole family is the same way. We love Lincoln. And I mean, it's a little cliche, but I do think to say we are a large town instead of a small city is really what makes Lincoln great, where we have bigger city amenities. I mean, look at our downtown. I mean, it's just, and not just our downtown, our entire city. We have so many amenities that you can get in that bigger city, but we have great neighborhoods. We have great schools. So it's a great place to live. So you have that good live, work, play balance that you can't get everywhere. So it's fairly easy to live here and raise your kids. We love it. And yeah, you can travel if you need to get the beach or you need to get the mountains, but here you can still have most of everything that you want. And you can be a part of the community. That's that kind of large town. You're 1 degree or 2 degrees of separation from anybody in Lincoln. And I think as I've grown up in Lincoln and I've been involved in the community now, I've realized it could be a good thing or a bad thing, but largely a good thing that it takes one voice to make a change in Lincoln. It really does. Yeah. You can go and testify at council and your voice will be heard by them. And they'll come to me and say, hey, this person said this. We might want to think about this direction. Or Randy Bretz just gave us an email. He's bugging us again. We need to think about changing parking downtown. So then what do we do? We do. I still remember that. Yes. So and look what it did. I mean, Randy sent an email to the city and they made a change on something that needed to happen with parking. We have cameras in all of our parking garages now. And again, it takes one voice to make a change. And that is very, very
one reasonable voice.
One reasonable voice.
Because Randy's reasonable.
Or 2 unreasonable voices. But that's the ratio. So
you've talked about a master plan. You've talked about 2018. Cast your eye forward 10 years from now. Yeah. And what O Street will be done.
Yes.
What will be happening that will make Lincoln even better?
I think it's going to be really what I would call more of the icing on the cake. We're building the layers right now. I mean, the layers are there. We have a great cake already, but we're adding tiers to that level. We're having all these catalyst programs to launch us in to the next decade, because that's what makes downtowns great. We have to always continue to evolve. So right now, I'd say we're in the evolving point. We need this convention center and all the development that comes around with it. We need to enhance Boehmer Street. We need to enhance Canopy Street, our library. O Street's going to be done. Then we really let's start activating it. That's why we need our downtown champions. So we're going to have more of a community. So to me, that's when it's really going to be noticeable about the people. Right now, a lot of the infrastructure is about place, but really what will take us to the next level is people. Downtowns are people. And those people will have things to be involved with. We'll have more events that we'll be able to be involved with. Our music district will have activity in that area. We want to enhance the Canopy Street area. And we want the businesses that follow too. So we actually don't have a ton of vacancy when you compare us to a lot of other downtowns. But the vacancy we do have is we're kind of in that transition in our country right now, and especially in downtowns, is transitioning to the experiential economy. And a lot of the new businesses that are coming is when you open a place in a city, and especially when you open a place downtown, it needs to be an experience. So you can't just be a restaurant and serve food anymore. You can't just be a coffee shop and not also have a podcast zone anymore. Like, this is an experience, and you're going to start seeing more of those ideas come to fruition. And I want them to be a part of downtown as well, to enhance what we already have and the businesses we already have. And our own businesses already continue to enhance themselves. Like Yaya's is close right now. That's been a mainstay, and Nodder is upgrading it as we speak, and he wants to go into that next generation and continue to evolve as well. So I just love the energy. But to me, it's really going to be about bringing back and updating to get the community involved that wants to be involved in this area, and they'll be involved with all of these new things that have been added over these next 5-10 years.
Would you talk a little bit about the relationship between downtown Lincoln and the university?
Yeah.
I mean, our street, there it is. And is it a big divide? Is it a nice coming together?
It's a great coming together. There's not a lot of downtowns that just have the university attached to them. And we always want to figure out how to make that our street, not a moat, and encourage people to come by. And again, that was another big thing for Music Box. Again, it's brought a lot of students to come in and further down the street and get involved. But it's just, it's an extension of that community. So you'd think, we have a great relationship, like from an infrastructure level with the chancellor's office and all that. But the secret sauce for the university and us is really kind of starting from the bottom up. Like, we have seen so much success just working with students. I just did a story with the journalism college, and they came in and interviewed me and got them involved with downtown. And they want to learn more about what's going on, and they want to volunteer for Boehmer Street initiatives, and they want to do a story on this. And we've also partnered with Johnny Carson School for Emerging Media. We've partnered with the College of Engineering for different things like Parking Day.
And the Lead Center is expanding.
The Lead Center is expanding, and that's quasi-university. So really it's like there's so many little ripples that are created through every different college and the university. So if you talk about high level infrastructure, that makes solid, slow, steady change. But those little quick wins with every little either student or department, that's really where I see the value of the university is we just get involved with their community and they get involved with our community and we become one.
Anything we haven't asked you that you're dying to talk about?
I think we covered most of it, actually. I'm glad we got to talk more about downtown than myself, so that's good. And I think we've covered every Catalyst project. Again, really excited about this Downtown Champions program, and hopefully we get that convention center.
And I want to encourage people when Project O Street is happening, which starts in the early April and is going to go on for 18 months, I think.
Yeah.
Make an extraordinary effort to get downtown, go to the restaurants, go to the shops, because they're going to be open. And that way you can show, it's a little bit like I saw trucks loaded with hay headed out in western Nebraska. That's how Nebraska people are. And we don't have to take a truckload of hay downtown, but take yourself downtown. So thanks for listening and thanks for watching. You've been listening to Common Grounds, conversations from the roasting room at the Coffee Roaster in Lincoln, Nebraska. These conversations are designed to help us better understand the people who share this place and the stories that shape it. If something you heard today stayed with you, we invite you to keep the conversation going. Share the episode. Sit down with someone and talk. Thanks for being part of Common Grounds. We'll see you next time.